On this episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast, it's the NFL Combine. So we got prospects to talk about, must-watch candidates. We got contracts to talk about as the Denver Broncos are taking care of business. And we got free agent spending. How much money and how crazy will the Denver Broncos go? All that and more starting right about now. Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast. It's an NFL Combine edition. I'm your host, Keith Brugman. Can't wait to get this started, man. 3 days of the NFL Combine already in the books. The Denver Broncos, they're down in Indianapolis. They're wheeling and dealing. They're doing contracts. They're trying to talk to all these prospects, and they're trying to figure out how they're going to spend all their money. Trevor is here to maybe help figure that out as well. Mr. Trevor Salzman, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing? We're not in Indianapolis, man. I wish I was there checking this all out in person, maybe, rubbing a few elbows with Sean Payton. But we're not. We're here. We're here for Broncos country nonetheless. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Doing well, Keith. Excited about talking Combine. There were some guys that stood out today, but I know you just mentioned, love to be in Indianapolis to watch the Combine, but my gosh, would I like to be a fly on the wall in those interview rooms, because that's where a lot of the magic happens. You're starting to see some deals happen around the NFL. We've seen a trade the other day, Titans and Jets, which could dictate this draft. So you're starting to see some behind-the-scenes kind of workings on deals. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of this Combine after the Combine's over with. But I would love to be a fly on the wall, just scouring around and seeing what NFL teams, what they would be negotiating, what deals and stuff like that. Because we all know that's when the famous Russell Wilson trade happened on the napkin in the NFL Combine. So a couple years ago. So big deals can definitely happen there. But Keith, looking forward to getting some of these exciting prospects going out on the field today from what we've seen, and possibly looking at future Broncos ahead as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We might rewind for just a little bit before that. I feel like I'm Adam Schefter over here with my phone as I'm trying to get all our shares out this evening and watching Adam Schefter and all the guys right about now. It's that time of year. But that being said, not Adam Schefter, just trying to make sure that we're reaching all of Broncos country out there. Couple of pieces of business, man, because I think one went underneath the radar quite a bit, and another one got talked about. Jaleel McLaughlin not given a tender by the Denver Broncos. Here's a guy that was a heavy rotational piece for the Denver Broncos and that running game, especially once J.K. Dobbins went down. He's been a major piece of the Denver Broncos running game, I would say, for the last 3 years now. I mean, a key contributor. Not tendered, but rumored that Tyler Badie is going to get his 1-year contract. What are the Denver Broncos doing? Why do you see this happening?
Yeah, Keith. Also, I would not completely rule out the return of Jaleel McLaughlin. He did get non-tender, but it was for $3.5 million. So don't be surprised if Denver revisits Jaleel McLaughlin kind of deal down the road. But they're just trying to do it to save a little bit of money by non-tendering him and not securing themselves down already before they're able to get on the open market. So, or scour the open market, I should say. So, one running back out for now, Jaleel McLaughlin. One running back in, that is Tyler Badie. This is not an official deal in place yet, but it's been heavily negotiated and already reported. Tyler Badie, the Broncos are expected to tender Tyler Badie bring him back on a 1-year deal, right around $1.1 million for Tyler Badie to return. I mean, I'm not kind of surprised about that one, really, because he's a big Sean Payton guy, and there's a reason why Payton has kept him around. But I mean, clearly Denver values him enough to bring him back even before free agency opens up. So looking forward to seeing what happens going forward in this running back room. Obviously, for the Broncos, we've talked about them multiple times. This needs to be an area where they address, this offseason, maybe even twice in free agency in the draft. But and Sean Payton has also talked about that too at the combine. So we'll see what they do with the rest of the running back room. But one running back out, one running back in with Tyler Badie.
Sean Payton talked quite a bit about removing magnets off the board. Whenever he's talked about this free agency period, this time after we've completed the season, we take all the pieces off the board, we start putting them back together. This year it's about the magnets. The magnets that need to become off the board are the free agents. The free agents you don't know about, and you don't know if they're coming back to your team or if they're going to another team. One of those magnets now, Jaleel McLaughlin, looks like he's going to be taken off the board, at least temporarily. That magnet can return. One that looks like it's going to be put on that board is Tyler Badie, but another one that's off the board right now is J.K. Dobbins. I think this is the Badie thing for me is a big tell of just being like, hey, we can't just be running out there with R.J. Harvey being our only running back under contract. We need at least one other guy that we know of under contract. And if we're going to let McLaughlin sit out there, if we're going to let J.K. Dobbins sit out there, we need to go ahead and get Badie under contract, R.J. Harvey. We can start moving forward a little bit now. How they move forward will be interesting to me, though. You're talking about the potential of, Jaleel McLaughlin coming back to the Denver Broncos. I look at it as potential of going out there and seeing what's out there on the open free agent market, seeing what's potentially coming through the draft. I think there's a lot of potential of that Jaleel McLaughlin doesn't come back, that J.K. Dobbins does not come back because of what's out there. And we've all talked about the Breece Halls and everything else for quite a while and what opportunities there are. I think the Denver Broncos are going to weigh those opportunities.
Well, and I do want to mention, Keith, this just because Tyler Badie looks like leaning towards they're going to bring him back, that doesn't mean necessarily he's going to make the official 53-man roster.
At 1.1, yeah. I'm sorry.
Same thing with Jaleel McLaughlin. If they bring him back on the league minimum, there's no guarantee that he's going to even make the 53-man roster. So basically, you're bringing those guys back for depth, and I think that's what Denver's doing is there's a little bit of familiarity, and with depth. We'll see with McLaughlin, but obviously with Badie, they value him in pass blocking and pretty big, and also can be effective in the passing game. But I don't think that they're going into this like, oh, we're going to bring back Tyler Badie and hoping he's our starting running back or even a pair with R.J. Harvey. It's more or less depth purposes, and Tyler Badie can provide that, be a good 3-4 running back for this team. But again, there's no guarantee of making any 53-man roster. I think expect the Broncos to also look in the draft for running back as well.
Absolutely. Roy Osborne, not a surprise that Jaleel McLaughlin wasn't tendered, according to him. He's also really happy because he's got his car situation all figured out, and he's back ready to talk some Denver Broncos, ready to talk some Broncos with you, my friend, as well as Ernie Mays coming in here and saying, go Broncos, country only. Hello, Keith and friends. Good to see you, as always. Ernie Mays, he's coming in on YouTube. Roy's over there on Facebook. We try to get out on all the different platforms whenever we possibly can. Got our good friend and fellow horseman, Mr. Kenny Kirkpatrick, saying, good evening, fellas. Looking forward to the show. And just like on Tuesday, I'm going to juice it up for the two of the best around, Keith and Trevor. Well, thank you, man. Appreciate you, man. Just a little bit of Lion coffee for me. You know me, Lion coffee. It doesn't matter. Keep myself caffeinated 24/7, it seems like. Just hook up an IV. Keep me going. Graham's coming in here. Friendly reminder that we might not even hear any news about the guys we'll actually draft. Laugh out loud. Secret Peyton and Peyton. Watch out for them. Watch them draft guys we never even visited with. I remember that just a year or two ago, we actually had a whole segment about that almost, how we went back and we looked at all the visits that Sean Payton had versus all the draft picks that he actually made, and it was pretty lopsided. You're absolutely right, Graham. Can't always read into what we see through a visit, and from what we hear from Sean Payton and George Payton. We can always listen to Adam and Kayla, who come in and say, "Good evening, family. Let's go Broncos." And Roy Osborne's not too excited about Tyler Badie, but you're absolutely right. I think again, it's a death move at 1.1 million in this day and age. It's not a guarantee that this guy is even on the roster, so there's opportunity there, man. But I'll tell you what, man. I always love this time of year, Trevor. They call it the NFL Combine for a reason. For any of you who don't know, Dom, good to see you, my friend. Mile high salute to you. Coming in over on YouTube. Appreciate you stopping in, saying hello. But the NFL Combine, at one point, all the teams would get medicals done by these players at their own facilities on their own timeline. So, if Fernando Mendoza, if he's going to be looked at by 10 different teams, he's got to go to 10 different facilities, get measured how tall he is 10 different times, get weighed 10 different times, do the broad jump 10 different times, do the, whatever it happens to be. Made no sense. We finally decided, forget that, combine it all into one place. We'll put it in Indianapolis. We'll all just come there. We'll figure it out. The one thing that I like, Trevor, I think especially helmets off. I know we're doing underwear Olympics out there, but this is the first time I think that everyone really gets to get eyes on these players, get faces to the names, get an idea of what these body types look like as they run the 40, as they run the gauntlet, whatever it happens to be. It's really the first time that me, you, and a lot of other people really get an up-close personal look at what these players are, who they are. Like you said, I was a fly on the wall in some interviews, but beyond that, it's the first time we really get a good look, combined look at all these players.
Yeah, first time you get a combined look. I love these players, but I think it's for the fans. It's about the verticals and just how great of an athlete are they, kind of thing. And there's some little bit of fundamentals in there, of course, football wise, but you just have to be careful. I would say any fan out there trying to, or that's new to football or just new to watching the combine, just try not to fall in love with the player at the combine. I mean, that's what a team and teams have done. I've done that in the past too. I mean, they've fallen in love with players at the combine and necessarily kind of throw everything else under the rug because of how great of a combine a player might have had. The combine should be a part of the process when it comes to evaluating players, and that's what it is. I mean, that's because some players just necessarily like Mendoza. I mean, just going there to interview. I mean, even though he's probably going to be the number one overall pick, I mean, you're still going in there. You're not only having to win over teams on the field, but most importantly, you're having to win teams off the field in the classroom, showing what you have, especially you're a quarterback. You've got to be able to be inside and really showing what you got mentally up in the head. So that's where the combine comes into play for me. For me, as much as as time has gone on, it's been I've come to realize it's more or less teams getting together for potential deals down the line. Every team, all 32 teams are there to discuss deals, GMs, whatnot. But it's also just to get a really good look at these players' minds on the inside, because a lot of these teams, they already have a ton of film, scouts, everything of what these players can do on the field. They know how great of an athlete, and have a pretty good idea, how great of an athlete these players are. So that's just kind of my mindset when looking at the combine. It's changed over the years. I used to be one that would fall in love with the player at the combine. Completely changed that up, and it's actually quite the opposite.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's just more than anything, it's really you get that comparative size, right? When else do you get to see all the wide receivers from across the country be standing next to each other in a pool? See them all in similar conditions have to run that gauntlet, and you can see through certain drills, even with a somewhat blind eye, that guy looks a little bit different. That guy carries himself a little bit different down that line. Seems like he's a better athlete. And not only that, it's the unfortunate thing with the NFL, but a lot of these guys don't get a whole lot of face time as they're in helmets. So unless you're the quarterback and you also have the big deal that puts you in front of sponsors, a lot of times you don't get to see the faces. You get to see the faces as well. Got to get to the comments just a little bit because I want to hit this one before we even get into ours, because we have a kind of a list that we want to go back and forth on, some guys that stood out, and I think it'll be a lot of players that you all maybe be talking about as well, because there's some big names that put up some big time performances, some big boy performances. But Rodney Garcia, he's coming in here. He's talking about a Notre Dame running back, not Jeremiah Love, but he's saying, and he's not the only one, because our good friend, he's not in the comments right now, but our good friend Jody Moncrief and fellow horseman, he's in love with Jadarian Price. Jadarian Price, for a lot of people, that's the number 2 running back on the board. Are you in agreement with Rodney Garcia? Do you like Jadarian Price?
I don't think Roddy's gonna like this answer, but no, I'm not. I am not on the Jadarian Price, bandwagon, I should say, right now. Actually, Keith, I believe that I had mentioned Mike Washington Jr. before even the combine, our last episode. That's Mike Washington Jr. is my second running back. After that, it's Emmett Johnson, the running back from Nebraska. Jadarian Price is down the board. He's probably I'd say he's about the fourth best running back on my board right now when it comes to the running back position. I don't think he's overly explosive. You can tell the difference between Love and Price. Everybody says, well, Jadarian Price didn't get the chance at Notre Dame. Well, I mean, there's a reason for it. I mean, there's only so much you could use from him. Jeremiah Love, as great as he is, but even if so, you find a way to use both backs. And so I think for Price, I think he's getting a little overpriced, I should say. The fumbles are a big issue with him. And you know how Sean Payton is with fumbles, Keith. He does not like running backs with fumble issues. The Broncos may meet with Jadarian Price. Hey, maybe that's smokescreen from what they actually, maybe for guys that they actually do like. I'm not saying they don't like Jadarian Price. There's some things I like about him. I think he's explosive. I don't think he's as explosive as Love. I don't think he's an all-around back like Love. But the fumbles, that just bothers me, and way too many of them. And I don't think he's a fit for Sean Payton in this offense.
Well, the one thing I will, and I'm going to paraphrase this, but the one thing I will say is Jadarian Price did get a formal visit with the Denver Broncos. Coming out of that interview, he was on my short list of guys to talk about. By the way, I did a little switch up on you in the background. He's not my wild card guy anymore. I got somebody else. He was going to be my wild card because he came out of the interview and he basically said, it was a lot about pass protection. And he said, I nailed it. Literally, that was quote unquote, I nailed it. He's like, I was answering questions before they could finish actually getting the questions out of their mouth. I nailed it. He felt good about what he did, but with a heavy emphasis on pass protection. Not necessarily the running or the fumbling or even, running schemes per se, pass blocking schemes. So might tell you what they think of him and where they might pick him up if he gets to the right position. You just talked about him being your 4th, maybe 5th guy. If the Denver Broncos evaluate him as their 4th, maybe 5th guy, and he's sitting there in the right round with the right draft pick, maybe that's an opportunity for the Denver Broncos at that point. But let's get to the list, man. I don't know where you want to start off, man, but I'm going to start off with your list first. I got all of the slides all loaded up, so, man, we can start running. I think we could talk about one of the big names that probably stole some headlines if you want, but I'm not trying to lean you any particular direction, my friend.
Yeah, I think, and I think that you're, the guy that you're talking about is Mr. Eli Stowers, the tight end from Vanderbilt. This is a guy that I loved even before the combine, Keith. We just got done talking about this. I had this guy on my list. I know that Kenyon Sadiq is getting a lot of love, and I think Kenyon Sadiq did a great job at the combine. I think he only improved his stock. I think he's going to go mid-first round. I don't think there's any way he makes it to 30 for the Broncos. If the Broncos want Kenyon Sadiq, they're going to have to trade up to go get him. That's reality right now. I think with Eli Stowers, I think he's very much so in place for the Broncos more than Kenyon Sadiq, in my opinion. 6'4", 238. But, I mean, my gosh, he may not be sound in blocking, but he can get there, and he's a willing blocker. And a willing blocker, I mean, it's hard to find tight ends that are coming into the league that are profound blockers. I mean, and to have a complete all-around tight end, and I think with Eli Stowers, he gives you every other ability other than blocking ability, but he gives you a vertical threat downfield, which this team doesn't have right now. He was second today at 40-yard dash, 4.51, third in 10-yard split, 1.59, first in vertical jump. Actually had a record, highest ever for a tight end, second since 2003. 45.50, and then first in broad jump, 11.3, and that set an NFL record. So Eli Stowers, I mean, he's a big vertical threat. Now he plays much bigger than what his actual size is. That's my thing. He quite literally is a red zone threat more than Kenyon Sadiq. Kenyon Sadiq is a all-around better tight end, I would say, right now. But I think Eli Stowers has the most upside of any of the tight ends in this class. He's young, versatile, willing blocker. He can go up and get the ball too. I mean, you can throw a 50-50 ball up to him and he can go up and get it. His broad jump just goes to show you, I mean, what this guy can do and how great of an athlete he is. And so I think he helped his self today too. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes early second round now. So for the Broncos, you may have to think about possibly trading back or taking him at 30. I mean, talk about, you forget about Kenyon Sadiq for a minute. Eli Stowers is going to have to be a guy that you may have to take earlier than you expected because of how well he did at the combine. We'll see how he did in the interview, if he really blew the Broncos out of their water there. But I think this is a guy along with Kenyon Sadiq that really helped his stock today, and I think he's going to go a little bit higher than what I first expected. First expected for me was probably late round 2, maybe mid round 2. I think he's early round 2 right now, maybe back half of the first round.
Eli Stowers is one of those guys that, like you said, very well could have improved his stock or proved his value for certain with his performance at the combine here. That would have been day 2, I believe. Tight ends were out there running around. Yeah, I'm gonna go right to the heart of the matter, man. I'm gonna. We've been talking about it, man. I feel like I'm going to be our good friend Kurt Valente here pretty soon if I don't watch myself because I'm pounding the table, man. I think we should go all in. And all in could be in a couple of different ways. If we could have some time at the end, we'll be talking free agency here at the end. Right now we're talking these combine players, and if you have the opportunity to go up and get Mr. Kenyon Sadiq, you do. Like you said, a different athlete than Eli Stowers. Probably a more all-around athlete in what you see. Good blocking ability. Something that's huge. Look at that. 245, 6'3", 245, and set the record for tight ends in the 40 as well. We're not talking a slimmed-down, skinny, undersized type of guy. I mean, yeah, an inch or two, yeah, you could probably put that as far as height on his frame if you really wanted to, but 6'3", 245, flying down on a 4.39. You were just talking, Eli Stowers was second with a 4.51. 4.39 for Kenyon Sadiq. He laid it down. Absolutely laid it down. 1.54 split, good split number in the split. 43.5-inch vertical, 11-foot, 1-inch broad jump as well. But a guy that could be another reuniting with a Bo Nix because him and Kenyon Sadiq actually played together as well. I mean, just an amazing athlete, and I think we all can agree the number one tight end that should come off the board first. Depending upon what the Denver Broncos do in free agency, it could be the difference maker. And I'm telling you, we don't have much time. Bo Nix is going to get a contract here pretty soon if things are aligning the way we want them to. Him being our franchise quarterback, you need to go out there and you need to get the weapons for him. Go get Kenyon Sadiq if that's what you've planned if that's the plan in free agency, I'm all in for it, man.
Keith, I will say, after the combine, how high do you think Kenyon Sadiq could go?
I mean, the thing is that, you know, tight ends are so valued.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it with Kyle Pitts,
Yeah.
you know? So, I mean, could he be just outside the top 10, sneak into the top 10, you know, be a top 15 guy for sure? You know, it's a move up. I mean, if he gets past 10 is when you start really considering, you know, okay, now is there any possibility? Who can we partner up with? How far will he fall? What does the board look like? Who's going to take who? You know, because then if you're talking 15, 16, 17, you're having to move up from 30, now you're talking about possibilities and plausibilities for the Denver Broncos in my mind. But yeah, it's going to be a wild night on the Pickens in Draft Show. That's what it's going to be, man. It's what it's going to be. Kenny's saying Sadiq, number 9 to the Chiefs to replace Kelsey could certainly be a possibility. That means that maybe Jeremiah Love gets past that spot if that happens to be an option. No way Sadiq will be there when we pick, says Roy Osborne. We have to spend a lot just to try to get him. Might have to spend a little bit. Absolutely, man. Might have to make some trades. Might have to do a player trade and a pick trade. You never know what's going to happen. But I'm just telling you, he's a different type of athlete, and I think it's one that would be hugely beneficial to whatever team gets him. Mm-hmm. I'd love it to be the Denver Broncos. Where are we going next, Trevor? I think we got time for maybe one or two more from each of us. Where do you want to go, my friend?
Sonny Styles would be my next guy on that list.
That was the guy I thought we were going to talk about because this is the guy that was on both of our lists and a guy that's on a lot of people's lists after what he did at the Combine. Talk about it, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, Sonny Styles. Actually, Keith, I said I mocked draft in the group chat today. Sonny Styles ended up making like 24, and I was picking for the Broncos, and I actually ended up trading up to go get him. So what a pick that would be for the Broncos. But no, Sonny Styles, I mean, I talk about being built. I mean, 6'4", 6'5", 244. I mean, and a freak athlete. I mean, first and 40-yard dash, ran a 4.46. Second and 10-yard split, 1.56. First in a vertical jump, 43.50. First in broad jump, 11.2. Sixth and 3 cone. I mean, tied it for third and 20-yard shuttle, 4.26. I mean, this guy was amazing. I mean, truly, like, I don't know if teams pass on him down the board. I don't know what the heck teams are doing because this is a guy that all around probably one of the best inside linebackers I've seen come into the draft in a very long time. I mean, I don't think I've seen any more of a polished player than Sonny Styles. I love this player. I got to think teams. You know, I don't think he's making it into the 20s. I think again he's probably more of a mid-teens guy. I don't think he goes top 10 just because of how teams value edge rusher and whatnot, wide receiver, those premium positions. So Sonny Styles, I still think he'll drop a little bit, but I don't think he's getting anywhere close to the 20s. But I love this player. I think he showed out today. I loved him before even today. And whatever team drafts Sonny Styles is going to be very lucky to draft him, as well as his teammate Arvell Reese as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, whole different animal when it comes to Arvell Reese. But you're right. When it came to Sonny Styles, man, jumping out the gym, man, putting on a show, records, like you said, whether it be his vertical that was just amazing to watch, his broad jump, and then his 40 on top of it. All-around athlete, like you said, 6'4", 6'5", 243. Not only a linebacker candidate, but even can play a little safety if you need him to. He's got the range. He's got the size. I mean, Sonny Styles has got a bright future in front of him. Again, another guy that I don't know if is going to be sitting there for the Denver Broncos at 30. But again, aggressiveness. We keep talking about these guys, and if we keep talking about all these guys that won't be there at 30, pretty soon we're going to get past 30 of these guys that aren't going to be there for the Denver Broncos, which means somebody's going to be there. Somebody's going to default to the Denver Broncos. It happens every single year. And again, I think this is the opportunity to move up. Kenny Kirkpatrick coming in talking about Sonny Styles. He says Sonny Styles really impressed me, Trevor. I wouldn't mind you picking him tomorrow for our mock draft show. He's talking about that Sunday mock draft show. I don't know what your schedule is. It sounds like you might be up picking for the Giants, because the Giants would be. Oh, there he goes, for the Giants.
Okay,
for the Giants. So
that high, huh? That high, huh? That's wow. I mean, he's in play, but I don't know. I'd go. I love Sonny Styles, but I don't know. Linebacker would be the Giants' biggest need there. I think maybe a little offensive line.
Kenny Kirkpatrick might be one of those phone calls you're getting up there in the, before you put the pick in. I'm not sure, man. When that phone call's coming in at the desk. Dom wants a running back. Sonny Styles, just one position, holding linebacker, that might be a spot that we need to take a look at. Because like I said, Sean Payton likes to remove those magnets and then see what's left. Running back, linebacker, both positions that we'll need to take a look at. Right now, man, I want to take a look at and see if I got all my notes here. I thought I had everything around me. Oh, I do. Right there, man. Fantastic. Got my notes here because I need to take a little small break. Hang with me and talk about our amazing sponsor. That's Morgan Trinkets. Morgan Trinkets has been your headquarters for Southwest Jewelry, Southwest Pottery, Estate Gold at wholesale prices for over 35 years. They were once a nationwide company. Now they just hang out partying in your backyard. That's Northern Colorado, Southern Wyoming. They do shows left, right, and otherwise. They've been busy all January, all February, and March is going to be no exception. March 7th and 8th, they'll be out at the Survival Show out at the Longmont Fairgrounds. Check them out, the Survival Show, Longmont Fairgrounds, Morgan Trinkets, as well as March 14th and 15th, the Coin Show out at the Longmont Fairgrounds. It's Morgan Trinkets, it's Southwest Jewelry, it's Southwest Pottery, it's Estate Gold at wholesale prices. Check them out on Etsy by typing in Morgan Trinkets Co. Check them out on eBay by typing in Pearl Heat. Dom wants a running back. I think we got a running back or two in here because I got a running back, and it's one that, I don't know, certainly turned some heads, I think, at the Combine as well. I want to talk about Mike Washington Jr., man. Mike Washington Jr. is a guy that I kind of mentioned as a wild card the last time we were on a podcast. Another guy I just might want to keep my eye on. Running back out of Arkansas, senior, 6'2", 223, big guy. And that's what I'm looking for in a running back. But he goes out there and lays down a blistering 4.33 in the 40 with a 1.51 split. Vertical, not overly impressive. 39-inch vertical, but the 10-foot, 8-inch broad jump shows me a little something as well. I like Mike Washington. I like him a lot. And I like what he could bring to the table for the Denver Broncos. Senior, I like his experience. I like the way his running style, and I like the performance that he put on at the Combine. I think it's only going to help his stock, but this is a deep class when it comes to the later rounds. A couple of maybe a top tier. I think that this could be a steal for the Denver Broncos, maybe in round 2 or round 3. Mike Washington, what do you think about him?
Yeah, he's another guy that I think rose his draft stock a little bit more. I think you could have made the case he was maybe an early day 3 pick before the Combine. And I know he was my RB2, but I'm just saying that you could have made the case he could have slipped a little bit of this draft with some of these other running backs going before him. But I think he's going round 2. I think he's at least a late round 2 pick here, early round 3 possibly. But I love Mike Washington, the athlete. I think that his pass protection can use refinement if we're trying to be picky with him. But I think he can be a workhorse back. I love the size, the perfect size for kind of running back that the Broncos would want to use. I guess the biggest question comes down to, again, it's free agency. What do they do in free agency? Do they, is it smart to take a guy like Mike Washington in the second round if you sign Travis Etienne Jr. and you have R.J. Harvey or just Tyler Algier and RJ Harvey. I mean, you have to kind of balance it out. But no, I like Mike Washington. He's my RB2 in this class. Really love what he can do. Explosive athlete, and I mean, again, whatever team gets him, I think they're going to be really lucky to get a running back like this, because this running back class is not as good as the one last year's.
Mm. Yeah, not as good, not top heavy like we saw last year, right? Corey Coleman coming in over on YouTube. New name for me, Corey. If you've joined the show or maybe one of our other podcasts, I apologize, not recognizing your name, but he says Washington and Mike Washington Jr. here and Jadarian Price are going to go in the second round now. He saw the tape. He feels like that's where they're going to go. Not going to be able to fall to that third round like you were kind of talking about, both second round talent. And that could certainly be, man. This is a league, and we talked about it on the last podcast. We had a lot of fun about how the scope of the NFL is changing and how running back is becoming more and more necessary, maybe in comparison to years. I think we'll see more of an emphasis on it as we move forward. And yeah, I think that could push Washington and Jadarian Price up into that second round both. I'm looking at our guys here, and we talked about Stowers, we talked about Styles, we talked about Sadiq, we talked about Mike Washington. I think we're down to your wild card here. I'll get to my wild card, and I want to talk about one from Kenny as well.
Okay. Yeah. Before I go to my wild card, Keith, I want to say Emmett Johnson's another guy I really like in this class, the running back from Nebraska. So I know Corey's talking about Price and Washington, but Emmett Johnson, take a look at him if you get a chance, Corey. I mean, really refined running back. Maybe doesn't have the speed and explosiveness that Price and Washington have, but if you're looking for all down back, I mean, a 3-down back, Emmett Johnson from Nebraska could certainly be one of those guys. And
go ahead, man.
No, go ahead.
I just want to hold you for one more second after that too, because before you went into it, because Corey does have a great question, and we were trying to put all these pieces together. We said we might have a little bit of time to talk about free agencies, but he's bringing up a question right now. Does Broncos country, do the Denver Broncos fans want Kenneth Walker? Kenneth Walker III, MVP of the Super Bowl, guy that really put that team on his back down the stretch, especially in that final game when we didn't see the best from the quarterback Sam Darnold. It was more of a Kenneth Walker show, and proved a lot to maybe his contract and his bottom line. We'll see if Seattle can get things done. I'm sure they'd like to have him back, but do the Denver Broncos need a guy like Kenneth Walker, especially like you were talking about in this draft? It's going to be tough at 30 getting a top-tier talent, Trevor, and you only got a few picks. You want to make them worth it. Do you get it taken in free agency? And I want to hear from all of Broncos country, yay or nay, on Kenneth Walker. I want to hear from you first.
I'm not. If I'm the Broncos, I'm not going out for Kenneth Walker. I think where the Broncos cap space, where they're at cap space wise right now, yes, they can create they're close to $70 million in cap space if they want with restructuring contracts, but you have around $20 to $25 million right now. You just got to be smart on where you're spending that money. And Kenneth Walker's going to get top of the market kind of money. I don't think he fits what Sean Payton wants to do, though. He's not well defined and pass protection. And like Corey said, it was a tough time staying on the field. This season he was on the field more than he ever has been. Kenneth Walker, time's not going to go back though with Kenneth Walker. He's going to continue to get older. I know he's going to be 26 this coming up season. Still very young, don't get me wrong. But again, there's always that injury history there. The Broncos just got done with that with J.K. Dobbins. I think you want a guy that can be on the field a little more consistently. Also, before Zach Charbonnet got hurt in Seattle, they were splitting carries. So Kenneth Walker got the love because he got the bright lights. He was that guy after Charbonnet got hurt. So, you just wonder if Charbonnet was in there, would we still be talking about Kenneth Walker the way we have been, and him putting up the stats he did. But no, I think Seattle wants to probably retain him. Seattle has a lot more cap space than Denver. And I think another team, Kenneth Walker would probably fit better with another team. I think Denver has their eyes set on a couple other running backs in free agency.
Very good, man, my friend. Very good. Do we want to get to your wild card now?
Yeah.
All right, man. Talk about it, man. I like your pick here.
Yeah, so I threw kind of a wild card pick out there because some of these other guys, I mean, we've talked about them multiple times now, and they were the spotlight. We absolutely should have. It's Jeff Caldwell, the wide receiver from Cincinnati. I've never talked about him before. I've watched some tape on him, but I've watched more and more tape on him as time has gone on and scouted him a little bit. 6'5", 216. I thought he had a really solid performance today at the combine as well. Second in vertical jump, 42 inches. First and 10-yard split, 1.48 seconds. Fourth and 40-yard dash, 4.31. Second in broad jump, in 11.2. Jeff Caldwell, I mean, for me, first and foremost, it's the length, 6'5", 216. I mean, yes, he's a skinny wide receiver, but imagine putting on a little bit of weight with him. He's a heck of an athlete. At the very least, you're getting him on special teams. He's going to be a special teams kind of performer, and I think perform well on special teams, but he has upside to his game. He's an X kind of wide receiver. He's got to be a little bit more consistent with his hands, I will say, but I really do like what Caldwell, like the upside. If you take this guy let's say fifth round, because you're at that point, you're already taking chances on guys. Rounds 5 through 7. This is the kind of guy that I'm taking a chance on. Got some upside to his game. He's going to be a big target downfield. If he can put on some size and be a little more consistent with his hands, you have something there. So I really like Jeff Caldwell a lot. This is a name to keep an eye on for teams just throwing a dart at the dartboard and seeing if something sticks. This is a guy that I think has quite a bit of upside to his game, and he's a pick and a guy and a player that I really like.
I like it, man. I like your pick here. I have a very similar pick. That's why I kind of like your pick. I think that we need to add that wide receiver. And if we're going to add that wide receiver, I'm not necessarily looking for the huge speed guy, the small twitchy guy. I'm looking for a guy that, let's face it, even if it comes down to it, could potentially be a replacement for Cortland Sutton down the road. It's the reason I like what I saw at the combine from Ted Hurst, Georgia State. I went back, did a little bit of film review. I got more to do. But here's a 6'3", 185. But I'll tell you what, he plays larger than 185. If you look at him, he looks like he's playing closer to 200 on the field. Feels like more like a big body type of guy. Could probably still put some weight on, obviously, but also went out there and ran a 4.42, respectable number out there. 36.5-inch vertical, 11-foot 3-inch broad jump. I mean, laid out the broad jump pretty dang well. But it was more than anything, it was just the way that he went through the drills. If you're out there, you're watching the combine, you're watching the individual drills, some of these guys aren't even running the 40, or they're not doing the broad and the vertical. They're certainly not doing 3-cone, and they're not doing bench anymore. So when it comes to these wide receivers, seeing them run the gauntlet, seeing them out there catching passes from some of these quarterbacks and some of the routes that they're asked to run is really where you get to see these guys do their best work. I really like what I saw from Ted Hurst. He's not going to be a guy that we're going to obviously target in the top rounds. He's not that type of guy. He's going to be a later round draft pick. Let's face it, we'd all like to have a bunch of number one picks, and that's the only thing that we need to talk about. But you need to talk about some of those later round guys. Ted Hurst is a guy that I'd be looking at in later rounds as a wide receiver for the Denver Broncos. Did well at the combine, did really well to maybe get on the radar, up his stock, in my opinion.
And this is another wide receiver, Keith, that like rounds 5 through 7, just to throw a dart at the dartboard and see if something sticks kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. Okay. Later rounds, he might sneak up as, late third, into the fourth, but someone would really have to be excited about him in order to do that. I see him more like kind of that mid-round to late round type of guy, though. And again, wish that all I had was number one picks and I could throw darts just in the first round. But this is a guy that you could take a dart, throw out the dartboard a little bit later when you have those picks, and potentially have a wide receiver you can develop into something pretty amazing. I'll tell you what, man, for his size, his get off and his get out of town is off the charts, man. I love his ability with the ball in his hands. So,
Okay.
I don't know. Oh, I see that maybe you answered. Kenny, if you're out there, if you have any thoughts on this, he said there's one other guy that he really, really wanted Broncos fans to keep an eye out on. His nickname is the Shark, and his name is Kyle Lewis. He's a linebacker out of Pitt, junior, 6'1", 220. And it's a guy that Kenny was talking about a little bit earlier. He said, man, if it was up to him, if he was on the podcast right now, this is a guy that I would keep an eye on. I would keep my eye out on, and I would keep my ear to the ground because he likes what he saw from Kyle Lewis at the Combine. We actually had talked about him before. I actually had this graphic all pre-made, ready to go. Made it easy for me. Thank you, Kenny. But that's how solid he is on Kyle Lewis, linebacker, Pitt. I guess Broncos country, you've had some hot takes from Kenny Kirkpatrick in the past. They've come true. I would just keep your ear to the ground when it comes to Kyle Lewis, linebacker as well. It's going to be a fantastic process as we go through all this, man. Combine will wrap up tomorrow, and then we'll be talking pro days as well. And see, I knew if I just prodded him enough, I get something. Yes, hybrid linebacker safety had a great combine. 2024 was his best season, but solid 25 season. And my wild card is the C on his chest. Loves that he's a captain, and that's obviously something that the Denver Broncos like to see as well. They talk about, that locker room and the right character, and we've talked about it for a while, the way that Sean Payton's changed this team, the type of guys that he's brought in the locker room. Captain Kyle Lewis, linebacker, safety hybrid, out of Michigan. Watch out for him, says Kenny Kirkpatrick. Kenny, I appreciate that. Appreciate you chiming in here and sticking with us and getting me the info that you wanted to get out to all these Broncos country fans. Trevor, we do have a few minutes, man. We made it. Currently, the Denver Broncos have a whopping $26 million to go wild in free agency.
Yeah.
Trevor, it's not a lot. You talked about it. There's a lot of flexibility. They could start moving some contracts. Heck, it was even reported by our I believe Adam Schefter today that there might be a push for teams to start now being able to trade 4-year and 5th-year picks and upcoming, in order to make deals happen rather than just 3 years down the road as far as their picks. So a lot of ways that we can start pushing around money and contracts and it's got a correction. Pittsburgh University. Sorry, my friend. I'll get that all taken care of for that. But now it's as it sits right now. Like I said, not a whole lot of dollars to spend when it comes to free agency. Let's just get into it, man. I want to ask you straight out how are the Broncos spending their money, or if you were the Broncos, how are you spending your money? Because it's not a whole lot to go around. You can make a little more room. I know you're not a big one to push contracts down the road, but and money down the road. But how do you see it, man? What do you want to talk about here?
I think for me, I think you have to create a little more cap space. I don't mind converting like guys like Quinn Minard's, even PS2's contracts. And we can even get in a little more specifics as we get closer to free agency with everything, because still a lot of moving parts. But no, I wouldn't mind moving money down the line for guys like your core guys. That's what that might if you want an example, look what the Chiefs just did with Patrick Mahomes. Moved his base salary to signing bonuses. Patrick Mahomes isn't going nowhere, so they can do that and every offseason if they wanted to. For the Broncos, I mean, that's what it would be for me. I mean, they can move Quinn Minor's base salary to signing bonuses and create more cap space. You got to find a way to do that. Again, down the road in different podcasts, we can probably get a little more specifics of that, break all that down a little bit more, and have more time to do so. But if I'm Denver, I mean, you got to look at what you have inside first. I mean, what the biggest question? What are you going to do with Drake Greenlaw? I mean, what are you going to do with this inside linebacker room? I mean, you got to take care of your own. Alex Singleton, Justin Strnad, seemed like George Payton and Sean Payton both talked, pretty highly of Alex Singleton and Justin Strnad at the combine. And so, I mean, it'd be interesting to see if Denver brings back one or two of those guys. And then after that, the trickle down effect. What do you do with Drake Greenlaw? Do you keep Drake Greenlaw around, or is he out the door as well? Do they just completely flip this inside linebacker room? It's possible. I think that what they got to definitely do is they got to address inside linebacker either way. But for me, it's also running back. And I've said this 2 off seasons in a row now. Double up at running back, and you got to double up at tight end. They got to do that again this off season. And I say that because, I mean, you can never have too much depth. And yes, RJ Harvey, there's a lot to like about RJ Harvey. And I know they spent, high pick on him, 2nd round pick last year. But I'm not saying you got to spend another 2nd round pick on a running back again, but you got to go pay a veteran running back and to get this running game going and take some pressure off RJ Harvey. I love Tyler Algier. That's a guy that I'm more and more liking as time goes on, as we get closer to free agency. Not a lot of tread on the tires, backed up Bijan Robinson. If it wasn't for Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier would absolutely be the starting running back of the Atlanta Falcons. And Travis Etienne's another guy. He's got a little bit more tread on the tires, but you know what? This is a running back that I think would fit this team very well. And I think Denver has a pretty serious interest in if he does indeed hit the market. You see Brusal Tootin taking over the backfield there in Jacksonville, probably going forward. So a lot of moving parts, but I mean, running back, tight end, inside linebacker, they've got to address those areas. You can't go out of free agency, quiet, making these small moves. I mean, I'm not saying they got to go spend the most money in free agency. I'm not expecting that at all. We have to keep in mind, this is a team that got to the AFC Championship game. They got there for a reason. But you've got to address these needs, because this is, I think, the first offseason realistically that you can say our Super Bowl window is wide open. First offseason, you can say that. And so the moves, you guys start making moves and being aggressive, and they got to be smart with those moves. So that's where I'm tackling. I'm tackling running back. Got to secure a veteran running back. I'm securing a tight end. I love Dallas Goedert. I love the chance to be able to secure a veteran target, veteran tight end before you even get to the draft. So you're not so needy at tight end, because that could, teams can see that. Those are the 3 areas that I think this team needs to address. And don't be shocked as well, Keith and Posse, if the Broncos go after a smaller defensive lineman to replace JFM as well, a veteran pickup alongside Savion Jones. I would not be surprised if Denver did that as well, probably later on in free agency. But that's just something to add to the list as we move forward.
Man, there you have it, man. Trying to figure out the priorities, trying to sift through it all. Rodney's trying to sift through it all as well. Rodney, thanks for coming in over on YouTube. He says his prediction, you re-sign Dobbins. You pick up a veteran wide receiver, maybe a Wan'Dale Robinson, he says. And then you go out there and you draft that running back, doubling up in that position. And you make sure you get your tight end out there in the draft as well. I like the plan, honestly, Rodney, compared to a lot of people who want to go crazy and spend money you really don't have and maybe push yourself to that $70 million, potential as far as cap space is. This is a plan that makes sense. I'll give you that, man. It's not breaking the bank in any particular way. Wan'Dale Robinson is not going to hurt you. Re-signing Dobbins is not going to hurt you all that much. It's well within the confines of what's possible for the Denver Broncos. He is saying trade Riley Moss to the Minnesota Vikings for some draft picks. Yeah, I mean, if you're on that bandwagon of getting rid of Riley Moss, there will probably be a few teams out there that would be willing to maybe take that on. Honestly, I was just thinking about it the other day. The Dallas Cowboys could use a little bit of help in that secondary. You package Riley Moss and your 30th overall pick together. How far can you move up? Dallas Cowboys have some picks in the first round. Just saying, there is potentially. Jody the Judge Moncrief, he's known to pound a table a couple of times. Man, he's coming in here and saying Dre Greenlaw is going nowhere. I'll get to Kenny here in just a second, but I'll be honest, when I come to maybe spending a few dollars here for the Denver Broncos, figuring out how I'm going to use free agency money, use the draft, put this team together and run for an AFC championship. Jody, I don't know if you're going to try to wring my neck for saying this. I'm all about going out there, and if I'm paying one player, I'm paying Devin Lloyd. I think that Devin Lloyd on this team would be an absolute difference maker. And I think it's everything that you are wanting in Dre Greenlaw without the potential of having the injuries from Dre Greenlaw. He played like a wild man. He played like what you expected Dre Greenlaw to play like when he was in San Francisco and what you wanted as him as a Denver Bronco. Not the injuries in training camp, not the injuries in season. The guy that goes out there and dominates. If I had to start putting this whole puzzle together, and I started with Devin Lloyd, and then I had to take care of the tight end and the running back and the wide receiver with options like, even Rodney brought up, bringing back a J.K. Dobbins, as your running back. Not my number one situation, and I think you can obviously go out there and make room in other ways and maybe get yourself some opportunity to pick up a couple of good free agents. But Devin Lloyd, for me, makes a lot of sense. Shore up that defense. Defense wins championships. I'm just going to get to Kenny, and I'll let you respond if you want to. Running back, ETN, day 3 draft pick. Pick number 2, Wan'Dale Robinson. 3, tight end Sowers. And 4, Kyle Lewis. I'll take 2 out of 4. That's Kenny's, wish list. So he has ETN, Wan'Dale Robinson, Eli Stowers, and Kyle Lewis. Give me 2 out of the 4, and he's happy. Ernie Mays is happy because he says, awesome podcast, Keith and Trevor, go Broncos country only. Ernie, you bring us in. We're almost ready to jump on out. You're almost ready to bring us out as well. But I'll go back to Trevor, man. Your thoughts, man. Like I said, Devin Lloyd would be my cornerstone and start building out from there. Am I crazy?
No, I will say I am not on board with signing Wan'Dale Robinson. What does that do for this team? I mean, because you have Troy Franklin, you have Pat Bryant, who you just invested to. I mean, again, I'm higher on this wide receiver room than a lot of people are. So are the Broncos. Newsflash, they are. I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. I mean, until otherwise, they've proven that. And Sean Payton, go look back in New Orleans. What he did with the Saints, he did not go out there and spend big money on a wide receiver. It was draft and develop wide receivers. That's been his method. I'm not saying they couldn't go against that, but here's my thing. If you're going to address wide receiver, go get a number 1 guy. Why are we going to get a number 2 guy and paying him $17 to $20 million a year to do so? I mean, you have Pat Bryant, you have Troy Franklin. Wan'Dale, for me, he's damn near close to those guys. I mean, Troy Franklin had himself a heck of a year this past year. I mean, he's close. I think he's, pretty close to Wan'Dale, and he's cheaper. I mean, if you're going to go get a number 1 wide receiver, go all out and do so. I get that point. But just to sign a wide receiver number 2, just to sign one, I'm not on board with that because of your salary cap situation. Plus, what does that do for you? And here's my other question, Keith. Knowing this draft class, just diving deep on it a little bit more, at linebacker and the depth there is at linebacker, do you still go maybe high, go after Devin Lloyd, a high-priced linebacker in free agency, knowing that the draft is as deep as it is at linebacker, and knowing the Broncos are doing everything all their homework they possibly can. It seems like on all these linebackers, maybe they just bring back Justin Sternad, Alex Singleton, and then they go add a a linebacker in the draft. I was just curious on your thoughts.
It always just worries me. The linebacker position is a position that, I mean, I think a big leap to go from the collegiate level to the NFL level. We're talking potentially a green dot guy here. Uh, we don't have time to develop this guy in any particular way. And I know this class is deep, but once you start getting into round 2, round 3 guys, you're going to have some growing pains. You're going to have some development. And then you need to start asking yourself, are you any better off than if you would have just brought back Alex Singleton, if you would have just brought back Justin Sternad, and not relied on a day 2 guy that you picked up in the 3rd round? If your plan is to go heavy, and I mean really you're trying to get that one of those top guys, and maybe you're even moving around in the 2nd round in order to make that happen, that's fine. But if not, I think you're kind of playing with a little bit of fire there and trying to get a linebacker to come in there and be a proven guy, day 1 from the draft. I'd rather do that with a running back. I'd rather do that with a wide receiver. Rather not do it with a tight end, but you can potentially get away with it there as well.
This whole Wan'Dale Robinson and Troy Franklin thing. Wan'Dale Robinson had just as many drops as Troy Franklin this last year. I mean, this drop thing with Troy Franklin, he's not as bad as he was his rookie year. He's not as bad as he was coming out of college. He's actually improved quite a bit. I'm not blocking Troy Franklin to go pay a guy $17 and $20 million to be my number 2 wide receiver. I'm not doing that. If you were talking about number 1 wide receiver, fine. But those don't grow on trees, and no team's just going to give you that. So you're going to have to just draft and develop that. And so I'm with you, Keith, on the linebackers as well. I was just wondering, I think Denver wouldn't hurt by double dipping because you don't know what you're going to get with Drew Sanders as well. I mean, what's Drew Sanders going to be? You can't rely upon him to be anything at this point. Anything you get from Drew Sanders is a luxury. So I would not mind it at all if Denver double dipped at linebacker. And if that means completely redoing the linebacker room, fine. I don't think they will. I think they'll bring back at least one of Justin Sternad or Alex Singleton. We'll see with Dre Greenlaw. Because it didn't seem like he adjusted to Denver very well into what Sean Payton did from a practice standpoint. It didn't seem like he was too happy with that. So we'll see what happens. But I think they'll bring back at least one inside linebacker of Sternad or Singleton, and then maybe go in free agency and then maybe go into the draft and go get another linebacker. But either way, that linebacker room, I don't think it's just going to stay put.
I think tomorrow night you're going to have to defend your position on Wan'Dale Robinson, because it sounds like Kenny's not happy about what you're talking about. Thinks he's something a little bit more than what you're leading on, as Wan'Dale Robinson he thinks could be a key piece for the Denver Broncos. We go live with the Denver Bronco Roundup podcast every Wednesday and every Saturday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Love coming in here, talking Denver Broncos football with you. But hey, brand new show tomorrow night. We just debuted it last week. We have the Pick Is In mock draft podcast. The Pick Is In mock draft, because we can never get enough mock drafts in this time of year. Trevor and Kenny, they rock one out every Sunday. It's fantastic. They're always switching it up. They have a new way of doing it every single week. Can't wait for that. That's a limited time podcast, obviously a mock draft podcast. So get it while you can, ladies and gentlemen. 8 p.m. tomorrow night, Sunday night. And hey, don't forget the Juice podcast, Tuesday, 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. The Juice takes you all around the NFL and all around football as they talk all 32 teams, even get into the college football game as well. Sure. With everything we got going on right now, going to be a rocking episode for the Juice on Tuesday as well. Trevor, my goodness, we're on all these different podcasts, but it's fun, man, especially this time of year. NFL Combine, free agency, great time. Whether you're talking just one team like the Denver Broncos, whether you're talking them all, man. We do need to wrap up this episode, man, and get some final thoughts from you. Love all of the posse members, though, this evening coming in and rocking with us. I got to say that before you get started.
Absolutely. Appreciate everybody in the comment section and our posse members for watching live and after the fact. Come back tomorrow night, definitely with that Pick Is In mock draft show, 2026 version. Kenny's going down with this Wan'Dale Robinson, Troy Franklin debate because I'm not letting that go. I'm going to sleep on I'm gonna sleep on it, but the debate's gonna continue. So we'll do that before the mock draft, maybe, or maybe around the Giants pick. We'll find out. Maybe we'll save it for Tuesday on the juice. We'll find out. But I swear, Kenny didn't have Wan'Dale Robinson going to the Broncos when we picked him the other day. So we'll see. I had him going to the Steelers, but no, I mean, all fun. It's, again, I love doing these shows, and we do it for our fans. I mean, that's what this is the reason why we're here. So please like, share, and subscribe. Because you never know what you're going to get over here. You get Denver Broncos, you get all 32 teams in football, you get some college mix in there, you get some mock drafts in there. We're going to switch things up with the mock drafts every week. And then with the juice, I mean, we have these fun games going on. We just played a couple last week, so make sure to go check that out. We also have the Wheel of Destiny returning this week with the offensive players, and then we'll continue with the defensive players just before free agency starts. So I appreciate everybody. Appreciate all of our fans and our posse members. Hope everybody has a great rest of your night, great rest of your weekend. We'll see everybody tomorrow night for the Pick is In draft show. And just a big shout out to everybody out there. And as always, go Broncos.
Love that Mile High salute, man. And yeah, fantastic episode, man. Another day, final day of the NFL Combine tomorrow. I will not be running the 40, even though I'm doing my best Rich Eisen impersonation tonight. No, a fantastic episode. Great athletes. Can't wait to continue to break them down. Can't wait to get ready for the Pick is In draft show. But I guess the best way you might be able to prepare for it, Broncos country, is head on over to the Pick is In mock draft show. Get a real good idea of what these guys see and all these elite players that are coming out. Can't wait to put on another fantastic week of podcasts. Can't wait to have all of you posse members maybe join us here and maybe join us on all our podcasts every single week, man. We'd appreciate it. Lots of love to all y'all, but we got to get out of here the way we always do. Boots in the stirrups, guns in the holsters, of course, the Denver Broncos in your heart. Till next episode, we're out of here. Have a great night, everybody.